Today on the Surviving the Human Experience podcast, we're excited to welcome back a returning guest, Cristin Leigh. Cristin is going to take us on a journey and share her insights and wisdom on the importance of listening to your body, reconnecting with your energy, and embracing self-love. For those tuning in and hearing from Cristin for the first time, I'd like to share a little bit more with our listeners. Cristin is an intuitive body worker, a Reiki Master and Spiritual guide devoted to helping others reconnect with their energy and awaken their inner wisdom. Through her unique blend of body-based healing, energy work, and Magdalene-inspired channeling, she creates transformative spaces for people to release trauma, restore balance, and embody their true essence. Cristin also teaches the importance of self-care and self-love in between healing sessions, empowering others to carry their transformation into their daily life. So welcome to the show, Cristin.
Hello, Cristin. I'm so very excited to be here. You have no idea. And I'm going to first start by saying, obviously, my name is Cristin. I have ADHD. I talk over myself on a regular basis. This is me. I'm quirky. Welcome. Enjoy.
Love it. I love it. I'm with you. I'm a Cristin too. I think it must be something with our names.
I think so.
Yes, we keep it exciting. But before we dive into today's topic, I'd like to invite you to share a little bit more about your journey with our listeners. Some may be tuning in to hear you for the first time. If they haven't gotten a chance, go back and listen to our previous episode. It was awesome. But for everyone tuning in for the first time, can you just share a little bit more about your journey and what you've been up to since we last spoke?
I am so excited to talk about this because so many things have been happening. Realistically, when it begins, my journey has been one of remembering who I am and helping others do the same. So in 2020, I had a catalytic event where I was 215 pounds. I was in chronic pain. I was on 15 prescriptions. I was in and out of hospitals, wheelchairs, walkers, braces. My relationships were falling apart, at least the one that I was in. I didn't have a connection with my children, and I didn't have a connection with myself. I
Mm,
was really struggling with a lot of anxiety and depression. Like I was diagnosed bipolar at one point, which is actually PMDD, but that's a different thing, and toxic relationships.
mm,
Later, though, I actually realized that the arthritis, the chronic pain, was tied to my own trauma and also carrying other people's trauma, which totally blew my mind wide open.
mm-hmm.
So I actually turned to medical cannabis. And it's one of the things that catapulted my entire healing experience and my entire healing journey. And I'll go into that later on. I
Okay.
also did a lot of EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, to allow me to connect more to my body, to open myself up in ways I didn't even know that I was able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I connected with Reiki. I had a couple of new Reiki practitioners. Past life regression therapy was one of the biggest other catalysts of my
Mm,
entire experience because it allowed me to literally shift parts of who I used to be, to remove the absolute energetic trauma to become who I am now. And literally during those times, my face would actually change because I was releasing parts of my old self.
okay.
And all of this came down to somatic healing in general,
Mm-hmm.
connecting to my body, connecting to me. And bit by bit, I started to heal and open my heart. So, over the past year, I've really been expanding and upgrading. What I do is intuitive body work
Okay.
infused with the rose lineage of Mary Magdalene's compassionate healing energy. And every time I talk about her, I get instant chills and instant tears because I am so grateful that I get to work with this beautiful energy. So
Mm,
now my focus is supporting all of my divine feminine clients in breakthrough sessions and consistent self care, consistent self love practices, while also collaborating with the Well Collective, which is a group of holistic practitioners, in order to shift the way healing is experienced and done.
wow. Oh, that's so exciting. My whole body had chills when you were talking too. And there were a couple things that really just stood out to me as you were talking about connecting back to yourself. And, in this day and age, we move so quickly and we get so indoctrinated into these programs where we just have to go, go, go. And wash, rinse, repeat, get up and do the same thing over and over again, I think we oftentimes are losing our ability to connect with ourselves. We're literally, and psychology tells us disassociating is not good, but it's almost become the norm in what's happening in our daily human experiences. So that stood out to me. But the other thing you said that was awesome too, I mean, everything was awesome, but you talked about consistency. And um it's so common nowadays for people to begin going on this journey where they're like, okay, I've got my self-care routine, I've got my journal, I've got the plan, and it works for like a week or two or three, and then slowly weans away, right? Because we end up in this space where it's hard to create something that's sustainable when you've got one foot in this other version of yourself and another in this one that's trying to emerge. So I'm really glad you pointed out consistent self-care. Huge. All right. So let's get into it. When you say tuning in, what does that look like? What does that mean?
Well, I'm going to add into the tuning aspect that you were talking about.
Mhm.
We really are completely disassociated from what our body tells us. So
Mhm.
tuning in really just means listening to what your body is telling you. It's always talking to you. Let me just start off by saying that chronic pain that you're thinking about right now that just decided to pop up in your body out of nowhere, that's telling you something. It's talking to
Mhm.
you. It's always sending us signals. When we don't listen to those signals, it starts to scream at us. And it's kind of like a little kid or a toddler pulling at your sleeve. If
Mhm.
you keep ignoring me, I'm going to keep on getting louder until all of a sudden your stuff breaks down and you can't function properly anymore. Tuning in means to slow down,
Mhm.
connect to your body, stop running away from yourself, and giving yourself permission to connect and to listen. Honestly, just sitting there with one hand on your chest and one hand on your abdomen, and just for 1 or 2 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, taking a deep breath and listening to what your body has been trying to tell you. That's
Mm.
tuning in. It's really not as difficult as people think that it is.
Yeah, and so important because you said stop running away from yourself. And how many people, and I'm quite certain that a large portion of your clients, as the ones I've seen as well, show up and they are not in love with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They are, picking themselves apart. I don't like the way my, toes look, so I don't wear my feet out, or I don't like my body shape or my weight, or um, I've yet to really come across somebody, honestly, who came to me and said, I love me some me. That would be cool.
I may
But I
have
haven't.
met one client of mine who feels that way. One out of the 4
Okay.
years that I've been doing this. So, yeah, that
Ooh,
definitely stands the test.
yeah, yeah. So being able to tune in and reconnect and have that self-compassion and that self-love, I mean, yeah, it's where we have to start, right? How can we love somebody else when we don't love ourselves? That's a huge lesson in itself. Okay.
100%.
Yeah. All right. So are there recurring themes or patterns that you're noticing in clients where they're struggling? It just seems to be something that just keeps coming up when it comes to tuning into their body signals.
Let me start out with an example before I get into explaining that.
Okay.
So, 9 times out of 10 with almost every single one of my clients, let's say for example, I'm starting to massage their neck area. They don't let go of their own head. They don't even realize they are holding on to the tension, and their body is so stuck in that almost anxious movement. Every time I touch them, something triggers, something moves, because they're
Mm-hmm.
not accustomed to being touched. They're not accustomed to relaxing in their body. And what it comes down to is most people live in fight or flight without even knowing it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we're always kind of like running away from ourselves and we don't realize
Right.
we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to stay stuck in survival mode. Many
Mm.
people don't even know what it feels like to not be in fight or flight. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
really understands what it really feels like to be in a parasympathetic system where your body is chilled out, where it's
Right.
calm, where it's relaxed. That's hard for people because our
Yes.
masculine energy for all of these years has always been so dang dominant. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the constant doing, the constant going, the pushing, the productivity, the working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, the family, the kids, the all of the things. And we
Yes.
don't allow ourselves to freaking feel our feminine
Mm-hmm.
side. We don't allow ourselves because we had society and the way that we were raised has determined that this is the way that we should be, that
Mm-hmm.
productivity, that money, that going, that burnout is the only
Mm-hmm.
way to function. And when you get your body into burnout, what happens? You get sick, you have dis-ease, you have discomfort, you can't even work, you have all of these problems because you're
Mm-hmm.
just doing all of the
Right.
time instead of, I don't know, crying,
Mm-hmm.
feeling yourself, feeling
Mm-hmm.
your emotions, resting, laying on the couch and not feeling bad about it. I mean,
Right.
it's so important to allow ourselves to feel the balance of both. So, what I'm saying is the balance leaves people feeling disconnected from our own body's wisdom. And I'm going to go into the signals in a little bit. So,
Perfect.
excuse me, I need a drink.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah, this is so very important because um I do see that productivity has become like the new benchmark for whether or not you're being successful or doing something with your life. When people ask you, how are you? They're really like, so what have you done lately? Like, and give me a list,
Mhm,
not just one thing. I need more than
mhm.
one thing. What are you in school? Are you working? Are you whatever? And it just has become such a performance based culture that is
Absolutely.
ridiculous.
It's
Like people
awful.
aren't really genuinely worried about how are you doing.
It's exhausting, to be
It is.
honest.
It is. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about those signals.
So I'm not going to go into too many of them because the body is always yelling at us and is always telling us something that we tend to ignore. So I'm just going
Mm-hmm.
to go over a couple of things that have the that I see most
Okay.
consistently with
Mm-hmm.
my clients. First and foremost, I mean chronic pain in general, but I'm going to say chronic pain that happens in your hips, in your shoulders, and in your neck. Those are
Mm-hmm.
really the most common, at least that I see on a physical standpoint with my massage clients.
Mm-hmm.
Energetically speaking, there's so much stuff stuck in our abdomen. When we feel anxiety, when we feel nervousness, all we do is tense up our body. And adding on to that, digestive issues. I
Mm-hmm.
am really noticing an upturn of people who are struggling to release toxins, to release what is going on in their body because they're holding on to it so tightly and so hard they don't even understand that their body is saying, hey, this isn't working properly. My body hurts. My abdomen hurts. I'm anxious. And
Mm-hmm.
really, jaw pain, jaw tension, headaches, those kinds of things as well. Our bodies are also always talking. And I'm going to add into that a little bit more because all of those places in our body are also aligned with wheels, with energetic wheels, which are our chakra systems. And
Yes.
when those wheels are out of alignment, any
Mm-hmm.
part of our body, not even like, the usual from the root to the crown, but even
Mm-hmm.
in our shoulders, in our elbows, in our knees. These are energetic places where there's something stuck, where it's trapped, where the trauma is holding on so tightly that like you can't take a full breath because you're so
Mm-hmm.
anxious about what's going on in your life, and your heart chakra is so blocked that you can't bring in or find the kind of loving relationship in yourself and
Mm-hmm.
or with someone else. And that's just like bare minimum.
Right.
Low back pain in your root and your sacral, it's
Mm-hmm.
literally lack of support. It's lack
Mm-hmm.
of supporting yourself or lack of support from somewhere outside, when realistically we have to find the support inside, but support in general does obviously help. So,
Right.
my goodness gracious, there's that throat.
Yeah.
There's that throat chakra. It's opening and it's talking to
It
you. Now it's talking to you.
It is. You have something to say and it will be heard. I love it.
Like,
So,
yes.
what are some of the ways the listeners that are tuning in today and that are going to download this episode can begin to tune into their body to have this new experience? Like, how do they go, okay, we've recognized, right? You've identified for us some signals. So we're seeing, okay, there's something going on here. Now, what can I do? How do I start?
I'm going to say just a couple of things, and it's actually fairly simple. First and foremost, touching your body, putting your
Mhm,
hand on your heart, putting your
mhm,
hand on your belly, taking 30 seconds to a minute, taking a nice big deep breath. Just taking three nice big relaxing deep breaths. What it does, it's a somatic way of connecting to your energy field, connecting to your body, and connecting to yourself. A lot of us feel the need to run away from how our body is feeling because we don't know the answers to it, which is
mm,
completely understandable.
mhm,
Morning routine and evening routine. And what I mean by that is a morning scan before you even get out of bed, or an evening body scan when you're ready to relax for the night. What is your body telling you? What part of your body is achy? What part of your body needs to be stretched? What part of your body needs to be released? And almost most importantly, journaling.
mm,
Journaling, journaling, journaling. If you are not allowing yourself, your heart, and your mind to have a conversation and understand what the frick is going on inside of your body, you're never going to know. You
right.
can't just rely. Okay, so you can't just rely on talk therapy. And I will never say anything negative about talk therapy because
Sure.
we need to get it out. But
Uh-huh.
what happens when you're just talking and you're not considering the fact that, well, I'm getting it out of my voice, but my body still hurts. My energy still feels weird. You're not fully holistically healing all of that. So, tuning in, and I know it probably sounds like a lot I just said, but taking a breath, connecting to your body, journaling, and really just being freaking gentle with yourself. Be nice to yourself.
Yeah.
That really honestly comes down to more than anything else.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I think those are very practical, easy things that people can implement. Doesn't require you to go anywhere, doesn't cost you a thing other than some attention and time of your own.
Mm-hmm.
And really just pulls people into the present. So it brings you back into that connection with your body. I mean, it's interesting to think about. And this is what came up in my mind as you're talking. We have these beautiful hands, right? We use these hands all day long to do things, everything except for on ourselves, right? We're using them to work, we're using them to give somebody else a hug, to pick up a pencil, whatever. But really, I mean, we should use them to put, like you said, over your heart, on your belly, and we don't. A lot of people don't even think to use them on themselves because we have perceived our hands to be used to get things done. So,
Mm-hmm.
just a random thought that popped into my head when you were talking.
I
I'm
love
like,
it. It's so accurate, though. It
yeah,
really is.
how come we're not using our hands on ourselves? So very
Why are we
interesting.
not loving ourselves enough?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So let's jump into self-discovery. A big part of your work focuses on self-discovery. We hear that word a lot, and I'd love for you to go a little bit deeper. So can you start off by defining for our listeners what you mean by self-discovery and give us that base understanding so that we're kind of all operating from the same place?
Self discovery is my favorite thing to talk about because
Okay.
the very basic thing about self discovery is learning about what you like,
Mm,
learning yourself. You're remembering all of those things that you used to do as a little kid, all of those things that you used to do that lit you up, that made you excited, that made your body shake, that made all of the organs
mm,
in your energy go, I remember what it feels like to love. I remember what it feels like to be alive. I remember what it feels like to adventure, to not be stuck in the same,
mm-hmm,
cycle of life. It's uncovering who we are
mm-hmm.
beneath the trauma, beneath the conditioning, and beneath the roles that people on the outside of our world told us that we had to be in order to function, in order to be who they needed us to be, because that was the way that they are. But we get to learn all of the things that make us exciting.
Yeah.
Really kind of just peeling away at the shoulds, the should
Mm-hmm.
nots, the who we used to be, who we were, and like listening to the natural rhythms and energies of our bodies and what our body is trying to tell us, what our energy gets excited to tell us. The
Yes.
process of
Ooh.
transformation is not fixing it. You don't need to fix yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to remember how to love yourself.
Mm.
Self-discovery. It should be a fun experience.
Yes. I actually felt like a little kid in like the little sandbox area or at a little museum when you were saying that where you like go from each station like, oh, there's the bubble station. Ooh, there's the sand station. Like I just got really excited when you said that.
Yay!
Brought
That's
me
the
back to
whole point.
childhood. Yeah, it brought me back to
Yes.
childhood. So what are some of the tools that you incorporate with your clients when you're working on that self-discovery aspect?
Um, the one thing that I tell all of my clients is to start making a list of all of the things they have ever wanted to experience, all of
Mm,
the dreams that they've ever wanted to have or they have had, the adventures, the even taking a dance lesson, doing something out of your comfort zone that you know could incite a reaction, a positive response, a passionate response, an excitable response. So we're also connecting to our body in that way as well. You know, somatic awareness practices connecting to ourselves as we're listening to what it is that our body wants us to be doing so that it can
mm,
open ourselves up to that beauty and that excitement and that adventure.
yeah.
Journaling, of course, journaling,
Hmm.
journaling, journaling. Now, I do
Yes.
want to add, Toe, that journaling doesn't just have to be writing a book. You could be voice recording yourself, video
Right.
recording yourself that you never, ever, ever let anybody ever see.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Even when you're journaling, if you don't ever want anybody to see it, burn it. You know what that
Mm.
does? It releases the energy and lets that go too. So,
Yes.
journaling doesn't have to be as complicated and difficult
Hmm.
as people set it out to be. It's supposed to be an enjoyable experience, even
Yes.
if some of the things coming out might not be enjoyable. But
Right.
it's just so important to give words and understanding to those emotions. And most importantly,
Yeah.
outside support. We are
Mm,
not designed to be alone. We are not
mm,
designed to heal ourselves alone necessarily. We always need the right support. And I said right support,
mm-hmm. Hmm.
not necessarily like someone specifically, but when your
Right.
energy starts to connect to yourself and you start to
Hmm.
feel comfortable with yourself, you start to connect to the support system that brings that out to you and you feel safe with. And that is the
Mm.
most important part. Safety in yourself and safety in your community.
Oh, those were so many important points that you made, specifically in a world where healing has become a buzzword. Holistic healing has become something that people seek and they're not quite understanding what that exactly means, but it sounds fancy, so we should all try it, right? And it's new and it's different, and there's so many whiz bang things to try, and
Yep.
so many different modalities and approaches and all of this good stuff. And I think it's really important what you said is finding that space where you feel safe and you feel comfortable and there's a match between the energy that you're working with. I think that's really important because just looking at somebody, just as we did with doctors, nothing wrong with going to the doctor. I'm a fan. They have their purpose. But for
Absolutely.
so long, you've just automatically looked at that person as an authority figure. And so whatever they said you did, not necessarily because you particularly liked that doctor, it was just the one that you had, and that's who you're assigned to. And so I think it's important to question. And if your body is screaming and it feels jittery and something feels off, then doesn't mean that person's awful, it just means it's not a match. So
Absolutely.
making sure you have the match is huge. All right, so now I'm really excited to get into this part because I've been waiting for this. Talk to
Yes.
us about working with Mary Magdalene. Like you've been mentioning it. You and I chatted a little bit before we got started, but I said, okay, we'll wait until the show to be able to dive deep. But let's start by sharing, how did the journey begin?
First and foremost, before I get into this, because I am so damn excited, I am actually going to take about 20 seconds and I'm going to take a nice big deep breath because when I talk about Mary Magdalene, I get emotional and I get excited because it is such a huge, gorgeous, beautiful part of my life. So, by the way, that's listening to your body.
I love
So,
it.
Mary Magdalene showed up in my work when I literally least anticipated this to happen. I was doing my own plant medicine cannabis session, which helps me open up myself. It aligns with my body and it helps me connect deeper to the wisdom that I might not otherwise have the ability to connect to.
Okay.
So it wasn't anything that I proposed to do. It wasn't on purpose. I felt when I'm when I was in this meditation, I was really going through an intensive struggle at this point. I was releasing really intense emotions. I kind of thought that my world was falling apart for whatever reason at that point in time. And I called in my grandmother. I called in all of the divine feminine energy that was in and around my being that I really needed to feel that protection and that love.
Mm-hmm.
And more than anything else, when this beautiful red glowing compassionate motherly energy connected with me, I felt her hands on my shoulders. I felt her love literally embrace every part of my being. And she said, I'm here for you. You are divine, and it is your time to shine in a matter of ways. And it was the most profound experience I have had on my own thus far. I also was preparing for my client that
Okay.
day, which was a Reiki infused massage client. And
Okay.
all of my clients' experiences are completely different because we have different experiences and different DNA.
Yes.
My client comes in the door. She's immediately in tears. She's immediately ready to let go. She's exhausted. She's burnt out. She's going through all of these things. And through this session, Mary decides to bring in her beauty and align herself with the energy of this woman because she needed it almost just as much as I did. And even as a practitioner, I'm still feeling this beautiful connection energy. So at one point, Mary Magdalene comes in and hands me this rose to place in the heart center of my client.
Oh.
And that's exactly what happened because as soon as and I also have my client imagine that this is happening. They're picturing their self in a mirror. They're picturing who they want to be in their highest self. And then Mary's energy comes in and combines with the love that they already have inside of themselves that they're trying to expand and open up.
Mm-hmm.
Mary comes in and she offers this chakra colored rose, whatever works best for the client.
Yeah.
And as soon as that energy entered her heart space, we
Mm-hmm.
both went, whoa, did you feel that? And she went, whoa, I felt that. And it was
Wow.
so incredibly profound. And from then on, it's a part of me. It's a part of the
Mm-hmm.
session. It's a part of the healing experience because one of the most impactful parts of these sessions that I do, especially with Mary Magdalene,
Mm-hmm.
it opens up our damn heart. Our hearts have been
Mm-hmm.
so closed off from trauma and from pain and from experiences that we can't seem to quote unquote run away from. And most of the time, we don't even have a really good connection with some of the mothers in our life, some of the defined feminine, some of the love outside of us.
Mm-hmm.
When we feel Mary's love, there is literally nothing like it. And I cannot wait to continue to share this beautiful energy with as many out there as possible because there is nothing like connecting to Mary's energy and having her know and having your soul, your body, and your mind know how much you are freaking loved. And that is the most important lesson that comes from all of this with Mary. We are all wholly loved souls, no matter what you have ever done in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how Mary connected with me. And I've been doing it ever since.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. My whole body was like, yes.
I got
Yeah,
the sweats. I'm shaking. I get every time too. It's
yes.
so
Yes.
impactful.
It's an intense, yeah. I have connected in once. I was doing a crystalline light with Mary, and actually, I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. And I remember I was sitting in the bathtub, and you're supposed to close your eyes and you're supposed to connect it and see what happens. And I literally watched this rose be presented, and I was just like, whoa. I have never, just like you shared, I have never experienced anything like that feeling before. That was a feeling in itself, and it was something that you can't replicate either. It's like there aren't words for it.
Mm-mm.
And I
No.
just remember going, Oh my gosh, there's a rose. Because in the prompts, it says, go and visualize and ask Mary to give you this gift. And I'm like, okay, well, where's the gift? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, a rose. And then I thought, oh my gosh, Mary and the rose is like, you then research and learn and all of the things. And it was something that I couldn't really put into words. It just was very, very powerful. So,
I'm excited for you that you had that experience as well. There's nothing like it.
there isn't. And it really shakes you for a minute. You're just like, I don't know what just happened to my being, but this was incredible. And it's this love that just, it feels like it's endless. It goes on and on and on. And it's far beyond any human emotion that I can really kind of pinpoint for it.
And I have to say, when you feel this connection to Mary Magdalene for the first time, you also feel like your entire world is complete and that you can literally do anything for the rest of your life and nothing ever bothers you, because you always know that you are okay in love. You always know that your body and your system is safe no matter what's happening. That was the catalyst that actually shot me into this other trajectory of the feelings and of the work that I do, because when you
Mhm.
feel safe and you feel
Yes.
loved, everything
Yes.
else works out all the time. That's just the way that it is.
Yes. Oh, I love
Woo!
it's
Got the
right.
chills.
Oh my gosh. So, and you started to talk about this. I was going to ask you, what have you noticed since you've begun working with Mary Magdalene? And you started to share, you've seen a lot of shifts, but is there anything else you'd like to add to that? Is there?
Absolutely. So I actually struggled for a very, very long time feeling unloved and unworthy inside of myself. I struggled with a lot of depression and anxiety for like literally most of my life up until probably only about 2 years ago, kid you not. So her presence in my life has expanded my heart space and deepened my connection to myself and the world around me in ways that I didn't even anticipate. So I'm still going through particular healing journey of a masculine type of energy.
Mhm.
And at this point in time, over these past couple of years, I had been doing a lot of relationship healing,
Mhm.
and there was a lot of anger tied to the masculine energy and tied to
Mhm.
feeling not enough and feeling
Mhm.
unworthy and all of those things. And when Mary connected to me, she reminded me that I'm a damn divine feminine, that I'm allowed to feel all of those things and overcome them, because we don't have to be women in general, divine
Mhm.
feminine in
Mhm.
general. We don't have to be stuck in that sadness, stuck in that loss of others' opinions and disconnected from our own
Mm.
worth. When
Mhm.
you connect to that kind of love and expansion, you feel whole without having to try so hard. So my
Mhm.
clients' releases have become more powerful. My
Mm.
heart center has expanded so much more than I ever thought possible. And then it just leaves you lighter and more
Yeah.
expanded and more able to tolerate literally anything that the universe throws at you.
Oh, I love it. So, are there specific techniques or experiences that have been more prominent for you? It sounds like your sessions with your clients have become more powerful. Are there any other things that you've noticed or shifts that have occurred?
Um, I would say that the only thing that I can think of, and it's really more of a connection to me and where my life started than it is necessarily like techniques, because it's all intuitive. So whatever happens in the sessions happens. Like I'm
Right,
not ego there, I'm not brain there, I'm just doing whatever.
right.
So in my early 20s, I ended up getting a rose tattoo. And I've honestly, for the longest time, I even forgot that it was there because it's on the left side of my back, which is the emotional aspect of me, which is
Yeah.
also the supportive part of me, which I didn't have support growing up most of my life. And there was a joke happening in a previous relationship when I had gained all of the weight that I had gained, that the
Mhm.
rose turned into a tulip because it wasn't the same size anymore and all of the
Mhm.
things. So for a very long time, I hated roses. I hated love. I hated that. Like I was so angry at myself. And
Mhm.
as we all know, circles always come back around in one way or another. Something always
Mhm.
comes back from our youth and saying, this was here for a reason, this started it. You may have been disconnected from all of it for all of those years to be able to understand your trauma and what was happening,
Mhm.
but that was it. It's always been a part of me. I just needed to go through all of the things in order to understand why it was the way that it was.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Tingles,
All
right?
right. Tingles, all the tingles, all the tingles. You just took me back to my eighth grade year when I got to pick the song that we were gonna sing when we were graduating. And the
Ooh.
song was The Rose from Bette Midler.
You did
And I
not
love
just add that in. I
I
sang
did.
that Rose in choir for 4 years and is my favorite song that I've ever sang. It connected me so strongly, and I didn't even know why until now. Oh my
Me,
gosh.
me neither. And I was doing an event at a women's domestic violence retreat, and I had to speak, and I was like, I want to play a song. And I said, you know what? I was going to do some of the normal popular songs, and something said, play the rose. And then I went and bought a couple of dozen roses. And so I handed roses out to each one of the women. And I had no idea why I was doing this, by the way. It was just something that as I was driving there that morning, intuitively I heard go buy roses. And I'm like, what? And hand them out to the women. Okay. And I remember handing it to one woman and she looked at me and she said, I don't accept roses. And I said, oh, okay. That's cool. Well, you don't have to. I'm going to just go ahead and move on to the next person. She said, no, I'm going to accept the rose because it's coming from you and I don't know you, but I feel like I'm supposed to take this rose. And I walked away from that going, I don't even understand what just happened until you were just talking. And I was like, whoa, that's why the Bette Midler song was played back then. That's why it came in here. So many connections. And I just bought myself some yellow roses last week, which I don't even like yellow. Yellow's not even my color, but I was working on the solar plexus.
I was
So,
just going to add that. I'm like, well, obviously your body is telling you need to work on it.
yes, that's exactly what was happening. So, I mean, so much just came up when you started talking. Oh my goodness.
I
Wow.
love
Okay,
that.
we're having some self-discovery moments.
Heck yes.
Yes. All right. So we're going to jump into self-care and self-love now. So these are two really integral parts of the work that you're doing with the formulas you use with all of your clients. And we've talked about moving really fast in today's world. We need to find more time to stop and slow down. So why would you say self-care and self-love are so important?
Well, because we were all taught that self care is backwards, that we were all taught that we had to love someone else first and take care of other
Mm,
people first before we even considered taking care of ourselves. We were all told that self care is actually selfish, which is total BS, by the way, and
yes.
caring for others is more noble. I'm sorry. Excuse me, where does that leave for your cup to be filled up? You're exhausted and overwhelmed because you're literally taking care of everybody else around you and you've neglected yourself. But
Mm,
real self care means telling our bodies, I love you more than what's outside of me. I love
mm,
you because you are more important than the drama, than the schedules, than the routines, than the laundry. You internally, your heart, your body, and your mind are more important than anything else. It's not selfish, it's how we fill ourselves up to allow ourselves to do the schedules, to be in the masculine, to take care of the kids, to do the work, to have the damn energy to have a life in general. Too often, we approach self care as survival. Why? At the time that you're burnt out and you can't even get off the couch to give yourself the self care, that doesn't
mhm.
seem very aligned. That does not seem like you're caring about yourself. You're
Yeah.
just tired and you're done. So, really, self care is just asking, what do I need to do to feel full, to feel alive, grounded, and centered? That's
Mm.
it.
So important that you pointed out how we've been taught that self-care is not it's not acceptable, it's backwards, right? And it's interesting because even going back to just thinking back to kindergarten, for example, you're taught to, love your neighbor and make sure they're taken care of. If you grow up with siblings, it's, if you're the oldest, or your siblings okay. As you get older, you become a supervisor or you're in a leadership position. It's, is your team okay? So who's doing the checking in with you when there's all these scripts that are like pre-prescribed and written saying you got to worry about everything outside of yourself, when in actuality, if you worry about what's inside yourself, everything else falls into place, right?
It
Nobody
really,
teaches us that.
no. It's because
It's
that's also not how we were raised. It's not how our parents were raised. It's not how literally any generation from us before was raised.
yes.
They were
Yes.
not raised to take care of themselves. They were raised to take care of families and everybody else. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, that's exhausting.
It is exhausting. And it's a program and a narrative that has been running. It's a script that's been running for so long. And I think we're
Hundreds of
now
years.
starting to see so many people stop and like we're shaking people saying, wake up, it's time to wake up. We literally
Absolutely.
need to realize that we're slowly killing ourselves. People talk about, oh, it's the food, it's this, it's that. It's actually, we're kind of killing ourselves because we've silenced and shut down everything that makes us human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sad.
So crazy. Oh my goodness. This
Mm-hmm.
episode has me really in some deep thoughts here.
Yay! I love
It,
that.
it really does. I'm like, wait, what was my next question?
Honestly, that's what I hope comes out of this and anybody else
Yes.
who's listening. Like the whole point of self-discovery and self-care and learning to feel better is to find
Mhm.
out why you do the things that you do, what makes your emotions tick, what makes you
Mhm.
react to that person, what makes you you. That's what it really just comes down to. And I love that it's giving you that as well. That's
Yeah.
profound for me because I love teaching this to people because we just need to know how to be loving to ourselves a little bit more.
We do. We do. And it's so important. And I'm so glad that it's a conversation, which is so important because if we can take the time to just kind of ponder, not just go through the motions, right? We could just go through the motions of recording a podcast, for example, and we could follow a script and we could just make sure we fit everything perfectly. But when you can go outside of that and you can stop and you can pause and you can really have the conversation and dig a little bit deeper, every time you have a conversation, every time you connect with somebody, it's an opportunity to look in that mirror and see what's reflecting back at you to say, there's a reason this connection's occurring. There's a reason people are going to listen to this podcast episode, and there's a reason they're going to go back and download it too. And this message, whichever piece of the conversation, maybe it's all of it, maybe it's part of it, is it's there for a reason. You're planting a seed. There's a purpose. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the biggest seed of all, really beyond all of that, is just learning how to be authentic, learning how to be okay with who we are as a human being, as a woman, as a man, as a LGBTQ plus, as the
Right.
variety of aliens,
Yes.
it's just, it's okay to be who you are.
Yeah. I agree.
And that just makes me, honestly, that makes me almost want to cry because so many of us are so tied to somebody else and other situations and other traumas that we
Yeah.
don't even know where to start. And we don't even know that we're living in that space to begin with until all of a
Hmm.
sudden our body falls apart and we're like, whoa, crap, what do I do now?
Right. Right. And I do believe that it is going to be the generations that are on this earth right now that are going to, especially our youth right now. I mean, the individuals in their 20s and under that are touching down on this earth are saying, enough, we're not doing this anymore. And thank goodness there's there's the Cristins in the world, us, our generation, right,
Yay!
that's out here right now, that's saying there's got to be a better way. Let me do the work, even if I don't get to fully reap all of the benefits, knowing that those after me are going to be in a better position to actually enjoy their human
Mhm.
experience, not just live through this pre-scripted narrative.
Generation breakers. We're really out there and it's hard as shit to do.
Yes, it really
Honestly.
is. It really is because it's messy, it's uncomfortable, it's sometimes debilitating. Yeah, it's really hard when you're going through that space of stripping apart everything that seems familiar. It's not even supposed to be, but it just seems familiar because it's the mold that you've been pushed into.
It's just really breaking the old patterns of the ways that we used to do things. And when we and I think about this on a reoccurring basis because all of my healing experiences, almost everyone, I actually say to myself, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. And what happens is when you say that to yourself and you come out of it faster than you thought that you would, you're like, wait a minute. I had to have all of these pieces break apart, all of these
Yes.
millions of pieces of who I am, who I used to be, who I think I am, to understand, and little tiny little bits put the pieces back together that actually match and fit with the puzzles of who you actually are. So that whole
Mm-hmm.
self-discovery and self-care thing, it's really not supposed to be scary.
Right.
It
It's an
is. It
adventure. It's an
is
adventure.
definitely an adventure.
Yeah, it's an
But
adventure.
yeah.
I picture a stained glass window when you gave that analogy, and just all the little slivers of pieces, all the different colors coming together. And when the light shines through, it's just so gorgeous,
Oh,
right?
I got
It's just
chills.
so
I
gorgeous.
love that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, since you've been talking, just random things are coming into my mind, so we're just gonna go with it.
Intuitive hits. I love it.
Yes, yes. All right, so I would love for you to share some of your personal favorite self-care and self-love tools and techniques that you use.
I get so excited about this part, especially being the fact that I'm a Leo sun. So, and I'm a Taurus moon. So, self care is
Mm,
literally what I was born to do on this planet. That is one of the
mm,
reasons why I'm so damn good at it.
yeah.
Because, okay, I'm a Leo, I'm selfish. No, 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 no. I really love taking care of myself, because when I take care of myself, I am at my best. My
Mhm.
kids are at their best. My mind is working properly, and my clients, everything in my world works. So,
Love it.
as I clear my throat a little bit.
That's okay.
First and foremost, Epsom salt baths. Salt
Mm,
baths. Please take your damn baths. And the reason why
yes.
this is so important, more than anything else, is because water in general clears our energy. It
Mhm.
relaxes our body. It forces us to relax our mind. And when we're adding the magnesium to it, it's literally releasing the inflammation, releasing the pain, and releasing the tension
Mhm.
from our body. So you have a 15-minute bath and you get up, you're like, okay, well, what do I need to do now? What's next on my
Yeah.
list? Because you feel so good about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Body movement. Body
Mm-hmm.
movement, body movement. Qigong, yoga, dance, literally shaking, literally doing anything, anything that you look silly, anything that makes your body move, anything that gets your feet pumping. Movement
Mm-hmm.
is so important, because we have been programmed to not move enough and lay on that couch, especially after working 50 hours a week. And we sit there and we're like, oh, why does my body hurt so much?
Right.
I mean, obviously, outside support is very, very helpful and very,
Mm-hmm.
very important. But more than anything else, and my personal favorite, is clothing. It's
Mm,
expressing yourself so that what the mirror sees and what your eyes are seeing makes you feel good about yourself, even if internally you don't actually feel that way. So it's
okay.
kind of like a mind trick. You're putting
Yes.
on all of your favorite colors, you're wearing all of your favorite jewelry, you're not giving a crap about what other people think about you. You're just
Right.
wearing the clothes that make you feel safe and
Mm,
alive and expressive. And
mm,
when you start doing that and all of these things on a regular basis, and we build a very slow routine to guide you to feel good about yourself,
mm-hmm.
you really start to not care what other people think. And I kind of feel like that's kind of like a bottom line, because
Okay.
we always, always, always care what someone else is going to think about how we look. I still do it
Yes.
every single morning. I look at myself and go, is this outfit suitable? How does this make me feel?
Right.
How do I want to feel today?
Mm,
Salt baths, body movement, support, and your diet. If you're not eating the right foods, then your body feels like crap.
right.
I mean, that's kind of an easy option, but it isn't.
Yes.
None of this necessarily. I understand that having a self care routine and having the tools is one step of it.
Mm-hmm.
Implementing those steps is a whole nother ball game. But
Mm,
my biggest suggestion to that is make a list of 10 items that you want to
mm-hmm.
have in your self-care toolkit, and start out in 1 week just doing 3 of those things on a
Mm,
regular day. Even if it's like, I'm going to eat a healthy breakfast 3 times a week, I'm going to
mm-hmm.
drink green tea instead of coffee,
Yeah.
whatever the case it may be.
Right.
Simple. Do not overwhelm yourself with self-care, because that's literally the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. It's supposed
Yes.
to be enjoyable and gentle and relaxing and rebuilding of your inner self and rebuilding of
Mm-hmm.
how you feel.
and sustainable, right? Because
Yeah,
just like you're sharing, if
it's
you're
like,
not enjoying it,
yeah.
yeah, if you're not enjoying it and it feels forced and it feels like it's one more thing on the to-do list, then that's where the sustainability piece comes in. And so I love how you were able to weave in the things that are working for you, because it's so important for us to figure out what are those things that make us light up? What are those things that are enjoyable and don't feel like, oh, it's time for me to go to the gym again, or it's time for me to, do this again. So I love that you pointed that out. All right, client success stories. As an intuitive body worker, you've had the opportunity to work with countless clients. You even shared some examples already. But can you share maybe a story or two of successes that you've had with clients that just really made you stop and say, wow?
I have three specific stories,
Okay.
one of which is kind of a twofer. So my
Okay.
very first Reiki client, Reiki, not body infused, not anything extra, just a Reiki infused client.
Okay.
She came in because she was grieving the loss of her elderly son, of her oldest son. She also came in because she was experiencing a lot of lower back discomfort, numbness in certain areas of her body. She couldn't really walk very well. She didn't have a lot of strength in lower back, and she didn't have her feet did not work the way that they used to work for like a couple of years. Her feet just did not function the way that they used to.
Okay.
Halfway through the session, her toes started to wiggle by themselves.
Oh my gosh.
They just started to
Wow.
like, I didn't even know. I couldn't even feel it. I didn't realize it was happening until it was happening. And she stood up. She goes, oh, I haven't been able to feel, my legs haven't felt this good in years.
Wow.
And to boot, her son came in and brought her very specific information intuitively channeled through me to allow her to be like, oh, now I know what I needed to hear. Thank you for coming in to give me this. Thank you for helping me heal this. It was the best and most beautiful session.
Oh.
So, I mean, I know it was just, it still gives me the
Mm,
chills every time I think
mm.
about it. Like,
Yeah.
that's what happens with the body work. It's just your body responds in the best way that it
Mm-hmm.
needs at that time.
Needs to.
So
Mm-hmm.
the other two, and these were intuitive body work sessions. And
Okay.
intuitive body work in general is just me it's a massage, but I'm also doing a lot of intuitive work. So whatever
Okay.
aspect of the body, whatever area of the body needs to be worked on and healed and released is what I work on.
Mm-hmm.
So I had two clients come in. They both were struggling with chronic pain that the doctors literally could not find. Like they've been in and out of doctors, in and out of hospitals, and all of the scans and all of the things. They both came in to me, and I found exactly the area of the body in their solar plexus where they were having digestive issues and chronic pain. And I pulled it out and I removed it. They both went back to the doctors. They did another scan, found it, removed it, and they've been cleared ever since. I've actually
Oh
had
my
clients say to me that
gosh.
I do energy surgery because I can
Yeah.
physically see where it is in the body, distort it, open it up, and they're like, oh, so that's what it feels like to not have that anymore. Yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty cool.
Oh,
Still is.
that is
Every session
amazing.
blows me away. Yeah.
That is so awesome. Wow. Okay. Well, you definitely had some awesome stories for us. So we are coming to a close, but before we wrap up, I would like for you to share one message with our listeners. If you could share any message with our session today, our recording today, what would it be?
I would have to say that you are not your worst enemy. All of the
Mm,
things that you've experienced, all of the sadness, all of the hurt, all of the trauma, it's not
mm,
because you are you. It's not, the world did not fall apart around you because of something that you did. It's because the rest of the world didn't understand just how truly amazing, magnificent, and loving of a person you are. And you don't even realize that yourself yet. And that's okay. It is okay to not feel okay about yourself because this world is shifting and there's support systems and there's self love and there's so many things out there that can help you and guide you to feeling the most love and magnificent that you could potentially ever be. And it's out there and it's possible. And I am literally living proof that you can go from chronic pain, debilitating pain, horrible life situations,
mhm.
and literally allow yourself to feel free, to feel good, and know that you are not a bad person. It's just situations in your life that have taught you that. Please start to love yourself because damn it, you deserve it.
Wow. You're bringing tears to my eyes. Oh, that was intense.
That's what I give.
Yeah.
A lot of loving intensity.
Yes, I love that. Oh, that's so beautiful. And that is such a powerful message. I know that a lot of our listeners felt that. I know I felt that. So thank
I'm
you. That
still
was
feeling it. I
beautiful.
said it.
Yeah, no, that was intense. Somebody intervened and said, "Here's the message you're delivering today."
That's literally what that was. It wasn't even me. It was an intuitive. Most of the
Yeah,
time that I do talk is intuitive anyway. So half the time, I don't even remember what I said. It's
yeah,
just like, I'm glad that that hit home.
yes, no, that was so beautiful.
Okay.
Oh, all right, Cristin, please share with our listeners how they can get in touch with you if they want to connect with you, if they want to schedule a session with you, where do they find you?
I will say that first and foremost, I am on social media and
Okay.
directly connecting with me on Instagram, Cristin the Heart Healer. As long as you have my spelling correctly, you'll find me. I'm very, very easy to locate. There's a C there. That's just the me. That's just the me,
Cristin
Cristin
with a
Leigh.
C.
There's no
Yes.
H, there's no E, there's no Y, there's no anything.
Yes.
Cristin the Heart Healer on Instagram.
Okay.
And I am actually, I mean, my brand in on Facebook and everywhere else, I do botanical soul work. So I actually combined non-psychoactive plant-based medicine to help you align with yourself, open up your body, and heal from the inside out.
Hmm.
And the Healers Collective, we are on Facebook. We are going to be big. And if you need any guidance at all, please come our way because we can help you. The Heal is a band of collective healers, primarily feminine, but there's a mix of everybody from all different perspectives and holistic backgrounds.
Hmm.
And we are all committed to giving you the most incredible healing experience that you have never experienced. And so that you can walk away
Mm.
feeling whole and centered, embodied, supported in a community that will never let you go and will
Mm.
always have your best interests at heart. That's me.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. And thank you for sharing all of your wisdom with us today, all of your insights. This has been a very powerful episode. I'm glad you were able to come back in. I know we're going to stay connected. So thank you. And for our listeners, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode of Surviving the Human Experience. And until next time, be well and stay blessed.